ESPN and the Professional Bowlers Association present the championship round finals of the Oregon Open.
It's Friday night, and the PBA is coming to you live from Portland, Oregon, the Rose City. Here are your 5 finalists for tonight's championship round of the PBA Oregon Open. Our 5th seed in his 6th season on tour is making his first TV appearance, Tommy Delutz. His opponent in match 1 has the best TV winning percentage in PBA history, Danny Wiseman. The winner of that match faces one of the tour's most powerful players and last year's Quaker State 250 champion, Bob Spaulding. The semifinal match features a PBA Hall of Famer who has won titles in each of the last 9 years, Voss. And bowling from the top spot for the first time in his career, going for his first title, Dave Wodka. There is your outstanding field. Now to Mike and Earl.
Thank you, Dave. And that young lady just presenting those roses is Cindy Crawford, Mrs. Portland. And that's where we are, Portland, Oregon, the city of roses. And Earl, on our telecast tonight, we have some inexperience in the 1, 3, and 5 spots.
Well, some inexperience, Mike, but not all that much in the middle. On the bottom, Tommy Delutz, this is his first time on television, so he's inexperienced. We really don't know what to expect from him. The guy's got a lot of talent. This could be his day. You never know. In the number 3 position, Bob Spaulding, a one-time champion. He's been here before. He's been under fire. He's performed well. I expect him to be tough to beat tonight. Our tournament leader, on the other hand, has something to prove. He wants to beat his mom. His mother, Kathy, has already won before. David Wodka, on the other hand, has never won before, so he wants to win that one title and catch mom.
Right after Valentine's Day, he catches mom, huh? In our number 2 and 4 positions, though, we have a lot of experience, a Hall of Famer, and a guy who has the best record on TV in PBA history.
It's an incredible record. Danny Wiseman, the player in 4th position, is 6-0 in title matches. He's never lost a championship match. Not only that, but he's 21-6 overall, 21-5 overall for a television record, which is just phenomenal. This is a PBA record. No one has ever even come close to being this successful on the national tour before. Danny Wiseman, a hard player to beat. He loves to bowl on television. Very talented. The guy he's got to get by, though, if he's going to get to that championship match. The man waiting for him is Hall of Famer Brian Voss. 15-time PBA champion. He's won a tournament, at least one tournament, over the last 9 years, trying to go for the record. If he can get to 10, he got a chance to continue on. Now we're looking for that first match to get underway very shortly. We'll be right back with you. Here we go.
And there they are, Danny Wiseman on the left, Tommy Delutz on the right. Tommy Delutz a little nervous making his first shot ever on national television, and we're bowling on lanes 33 and 34 here at the Hollywood Bowl in Portland, Oregon. I'm Mike Durbin. Working with me tonight is the ABC and PBA Hall of Famer Earl Anthony. Earl, Tommy's first shot. Welcome to the telecast. Solid 10 right away.
We've seen a lot of those. Last night in match play, it just seemed like every other shot was a solid 10-pin. The players are finding that the lanes are hooking a lot. They need a lot of ball speed to get it down the lane. And talking to Tommy Delutz, his key to success was a lot of loft. He wants to get the ball well out on the lane in the air.
Well, he has that first spare, so he's breathing a little bit easier. Didn't start off right with it open. Danny Wiseman, the guy who has mastered television in his bowling career. Whoa!
Very uncharacteristic shot from Danny Wiseman. Normally, he's a pocket pounder, and he shoots big scores on television. He's one of those kind of guys that can shoot 250 at any given time. This one just got away from him a little bit. We'll take a look at the style of Danny Wiseman. Very free and easy arm swing. Watch how he gets the ball out away from the side, opens the wrist, brings it back underneath. Good long slide, and one of the few players that's successful by sliding at the point of release.
Tries for the double, breaks out the 4-9, leaving only the 4-pin. stands so far back to take 4 steps.
It's incredible how long his slide is, and he can still maintain balance and get leverage into the shot and release the ball while he's still sliding. That's the only other guy I've ever seen that was really real successful doing that was Marshall Holman, Hall of Famer also.
From this part of the country.
Maybe that's where it starts. You got to be able to slide up here in the Northwest, right?
Well, Tommy's even after Danny starts with a strike spare.
Very impressive style, very impressive game this young man's got. Let's see how calm and steady his head is here. He gets through the shot very strong. A lot of back end, but that's just too much room. Never had a chance there. The 1, 2, 8, 10.
Kind of fell off to the right a little bit there. Changes balls to shoot this spare.
The idea here, of course, is get the ball on the left side of the head pin, knock it into the 10. The ball will take out the 2 and the 8.
Has a chance. Oh, just hit the head pin a little bit too thin. It looked pretty good going down there.
Here's another look at the style of Tommy Delutz. Very classic style, very strong young player. See how he gets the ball? He opens the shoulders. Watch him square him up at the foul line right there and get it through. The important thing is to square him up perfectly in time at the foul line. If you don't, the ball is going to be offline.
All right. Nice shot on lane 33.
If Danny Wiseman gets it going like he usually does, we've seen him do it in the past, Mike, you and I both. If he gets it going, if he wins his first game, he's going to be hard to stop. He's like a freight train going down the tracks. Boy, you just can't stop this guy once he starts winning.
Well, he's got back-to-back. Maybe he figures a good thing he's not going to change it.
Well, watching the bowlers warm up and talking to him, they said the right-hand lane was definitely hooking more than the left. And we're going to take a look at what happens when you hit high Brooklyn here. Almost a Jersey squasher, but not quite. More like a left-hander tripping the 6-pin.
Well, you did that a few times.
I did that a few times. Here's another. Watch the pin action. See the head pin go to the side, come back, and kick out the 6 and the 10.
In fact, I remember seeing a few shots like that over the years. Yes. For the double. And has it. Danny Wiseman taking advantage of that Brooklyn strike. So after 3.5 frames here, Danny Wiseman has a 25-pin lead. Tommy Delutz, he's working on a strike. We'll be back to see if he doubles after this. The Oregon Open from the City of Roses is brought to you by Anacin. Works on your headache so you can work better. And by MasterCard. MasterCard, it's smart money. And Tommy Delutz up on lane 34, trying for a double to stay pace, and really gives him room. Trying to swing it on the lane that's hooking more, and just estimating what it's going to come back here.
Here's another look at that shot, and watch how far out he gets it. Out near the channel, almost a tilt, Mike. Almost hooked one in the air, but not quite.
And leaves the 1-2-4. Changes balls again. Oh, got it. So he has the spare.
Tommy looks a little fired up, like the adrenaline's going pretty good right now, and maybe he's overthrowing the ball. He's thinking loft and maybe just overthrowing rather than being under control. He needs to calm down a little bit and get back into this match before Danny Wiseman puts him away.
Well, the one good thing is that Danny Wiseman certainly is not locked in on the right lane either.
Doesn't matter. He's got the double. That's the key.
Well, both players having no trouble with lane 33. Danny Wiseman, who's 28 years of age, from Baltimore, Maryland. He has 6 national titles.
And he bowled the only 300 game of the tournament this week, which is kind of unique. Normally there are several 300 games, as you know, in each PBA event, Mike, and only one this whole tournament.
A little more speed. And high, and leaves the 4-10. He'd gone Brooklyn twice in a row. Decided he was going to try and get it in the 1-3.
Here's another look at that shot, and you see Danny sliding almost in the left-hand channel, playing between the 4th and 5th arrow, getting the ball out to about the 12 or 13 board, but just not enough ball speed to keep it on line. And Danny, I talked to him, he said the most important thing for him here on this lane condition was to be able to throw hard. He felt that was an advantage. Ball speed was the key to him keeping the ball in play.
Well, I'll tell you what, with the strike there, he would have taken a commanding lead. The Open now, it's an 11-pin match with Tommy working on a strike.
That might be just the break that this young man needs. This Delutz is, as I mentioned, a very talented player. Danny doesn't want to let him hang around too long. He might be a major factor.
And Danny leaving the 5-pin on lane 33. As always, we bringing you all the scores on ESPN. We do that always at 10:30 and 50 past the hour.
Chance to use this for a lineup shot. That last ball kind of came off his hand, not the way he wanted it to. You could see by his reaction he was looking at his hand. The players will let you know what they're thinking and how they feel every time they throw the ball.
So what does Delutz do here? He's diluted the ball out to the right a couple of times now. He needs to square it up or what?
That's a tough call, Mike, on this lane, on the lane condition that's out there. This is the PBA created lane condition by the PBA lane man. The surface here is excellent. So what they've done is they made it a shot maker's condition, and that's what it's all about. In other words, the guys you see on the show today, the top 5 players, are all good shot makers. They're guys that can be very consistent with their ball speed and their release. They can keep the ball in the same part of the lane time after time, get it going through the first part of the lane the same way time after time. Those are shot makers. These 5 guys qualify for that.
He converts the 3-pin, and we talked to him. What he thinks his chances of winning tonight are.
Well, I'm going against great odds because I'm bowling. Danny Wiseman was the best television record in the PBA history, but I worked really hard to get here, and I'm just going to go out there and have a good time for the first couple frames, and in the 8th, 9th, 10th, if I'm close, then you're going to see a different person, a lot more intense, and if I have a shot to win, who knows.
Oh, bad break. Light hit 278.
Tough shot here. The ideal way, in my opinion, to pick this spare up is to play it on the right-hand side of the 2-pin. Let the ball take the 2 and the 8, drive the 2-pin into the 7.
Does he play it off his strike line or what?
The way they're hooking, that probably would be the logical thing to do. I would play it down the left side if I were a right-handed bowler. And that's what he's doing. He's playing it down the middle of the lane, but it just overhooked on him.
And another open frame for Tommy Delutz. 111 in the 7th frame. Trailing by 25 pins right now. Danny Wiseman is in control. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back after this. Stay with us. All right, Danny Wiseman up in the 7th frame, leading by 25. And Earl, look at this adjustment that he's making.
Well, this is amazing based on the fact that he slides almost that far. This is an awful tough shot for him to get any ball speed, and I just can't picture this working for him. But he's willing to make a gamble. That's what makes him a winner. A guy that's willing to take chances generally is a winner.
Was that a 2-step approach?
No, he kind of took a shuffle there. Did you watch him shuffle his feet?
It did shuffle. It looked to me like he swung the ball out, and it was almost right-left, and that was it.
You're the only guy I know can do that. I've seen you win for 3, 4, and 5 steps, Mike.
Well, I can win a pot game now and then with any of those. And it's NCAA basketball on ESPN. It's #1 versus #10 as UMass takes on the Hokies of Virginia Tech. That's this Saturday, February the 17th, 12 noon from Casale Coliseum in Blacksburg, Virginia. Well, back to normal here. No trouble over there.
No trouble over there. And Danny Wiseman, who finished higher in the standings, in other words, he qualified 4th. Tommy Delutz qualified 5th. Danny Wiseman wisely chose to finish on the left-hand lane, which is the easier, or if you want to call it easier, I'd say maybe the more playable of the 2 lanes.
Change of release there. What a nice adjustment.
Great adjustment.
He moved right, Earl, and went with a straight end-over-end roll.
Again, if you aren't willing to gamble, you'll never be successful on the PBA Tour. Another look at what Mike's talking about. You can see the tremendous ball speed, end-over-end roll to keep the ball on line, and what a great adjustment.
Now, does he do that over here, or does he go back to normal over here?
Well, I would do it over here also. I would do the same shot. Try to repeat that shot. He's hooking it. Well, he knows what he's doing, right?
Right. That's why we're up here.
That's why we're up here talking. They're down there bowling.
What a nice adjustment, though.
Well, that gave him a chance to win this match. Now, if Danny Wiseman somewhere has to, here's another look at that shot. Danny Wiseman somewhere has to double, and this could be the chance, but I don't like what he's doing up in the front here. Tommy Delutz is really getting pumped.
talking to those pins. They listen.
Oh, what a shot. Can these guys play or what? Let me tell you what. These are athletes, folks, and they're showing you what they're capable of doing on some very demanding lane conditions.
Well, that gives him a 23-pin lead. Right now, what does he need to fill? 18 pins in order to
Well, count
win?
is important. He needs good count. He can't...
A spare and a strike.
A strike would be a winner, but, you know, if he gets bad count here, Tommy's still in this match. Well, that takes care of that.
Does it? In a hurry. That's why he's 21-5.
22-5 now.
Yeah, right. 22-5 now. He had an .807 winning percentage going into this game, and now he's bumped that up.
No, that's an incredible record. And having bowled on television a number of times myself in the past and know what it's like, you know, you're bowling against 4 other guys that are at the top of their game, and to go out there and defeat them the way Danny has is just tremendous match play bowling. Well, what a time for that.
Whoa. Good thing he didn't do that the first shot.
Yeah, that's pretty good timing, and he's pretty upset with himself there because Danny never wastes a shot. Every ball he throws has a reason. He's always thinking out there. He's a very intelligent player, and he is always trying to learn something. Every time he rolls the ball, he's trying to learn what those lanes are going to give him, what he can use, what he can take from them. So he was upset with the reaction he got there.
And he finishes with 209. But that's enough to be a winner, as the best Tommy Delutz can get is 201.
Well, this is a chance for Tommy Delutz also to learn something. Here's his chance to go out and see if he can relax now and make a real good shot. Remember what he did last time, that great adjustment he made? See if he can repeat that. There it is. Oh, my.
Great shot. Bad result. So Tommy Delutz, it's a learning experience for him right now. And we've got a learning experience for you coming up right after this, as we'll have another average builder on adjusting. The theme of our average builders for 1996 has been adjustments. We've talked about adjusting with the target, with speed control, and with weights in the bowling ball. This week I want to talk about adjusting by picking the proper ball for the proper condition. Bowling balls really have gone through an evolution over the years. We've gone from rubber to plastic to urethane to what is the current rage, which is reactive resin bowling balls, such as this one is. These balls are properly named because what they want to do is to react to what is out on the lane. In other words, if they hit oil, they want to slide. As soon as they hit dry on the lane, they want to hook very, very hard. Their big advantage, I think, is how hard they hit the pins. However, they do have a downside. Sometimes they react so violently to what is there, in other words, sliding on the oil and reacting so violently when they hit the dry, that they're hard to control and get into the 1-3 pocket. That's when it may be time to make a change to a bowling ball like this one. It's just a regular urethane ball. The upside of this ball is it wants to make a nice, even arc to the pocket. It's easier to control. Its only downside is it doesn't hit the pins quite as hard as this one. Let's take a look at how both of them go down the lane and how they do react differently. The reactive resin ball is on the left, where the urethane ball is on the right. Both going over the same target, right around the third arrow. The reactive ball bites much earlier. Well, the urethane ball makes that nice, even arc that it's supposed to wind up in the 1-3 pocket. The important thing is that picking the right ball for the condition you're bowling on can be just as important as picking the right golf club for the proper distance. Next week, we're going to Kennewick, Washington. That's Friday, February the 23rd, 8 o'clock. It's the Track Synergy Open. Join us, 8 o'clock Eastern Time, where we'll have another average builder. And in our opening match, Danny Wiseman defeated Tommy Delutz 209 to 179. He earns the right to take on Bob Spaulding after this. And some of the faithful here at Hollywood Bowl in the City of Roses, Portland, Oregon. As we watched the warm-ups, Bob Spaulding was having a lot of trouble, but he's done one thing right already. He's going to make Danny Wiseman finish on that right lane.
That's right. The choice is his because he finished higher in the standings, so Danny Wiseman has to do what Bob Spaulding wants to do, start on the left lane, finish on the right.
And the 4-pin stands for Wiseman. That graphic showing that he split evenly. However, 2 of those 3 strikes on the right lane were on the crossover side. So a little bit of a deceiving stat there.
That's true. The right-hand lane has been the most troublesome. Lanes 33 and 34 here at Hollywood Bowl.
Cross lane at the 4-pin. With the ball that goes dead straight at those spares. A little average builder out there for you people.
You know, it's kind of interesting. People ask me, they say, well, you know, if the guys pick up a spare ball, they can go straight and know where it's going. Why don't they use it for their strike ball? Well, the answer to that is because when they throw it to in the pocket area, just like in your tip, sometimes that ball that goes the straightest doesn't hit very well. Not that yours didn't hit, Mike. I didn't mean it that way.
I never tried to take anything you say personal. I mean, as Bob Spaulding goes high and leaves only the 3-pin.
Bob's ball at about the 56-foot mark, somewhere in that neighborhood, is just going what we call a rollout. It's starting to hook, getting all its revolutions too early, loses its momentum, and goes straight on the back. That's a rollout, so he's losing energy. And we're going to take a look at the game of Mr. Spaulding. And watch, he's got a very good upright stance here. You can see he uses his upper body strength very well, gets over his legs well. You see the height of the backswing, a little more than I would like to see, but it's today's game. But right there, he doesn't stay with the shot long enough, in my opinion. The ball comes off his hand too soon. He doesn't chase the ball down the lane with his hand, which creates kind of a flip shot there and loses ball speed.
That one rolled out to miss the headpin, the 1-2-4.
That's an awful hard shot to play. The only way to play the rollout is go way deep inside and let the ball roll out high flush. Where he's playing now. Here's another look at that last shot. Now watch the ball. Watch the arc of the ball. Here you can see it's turning. Now it starts to roll and just straightens out. It doesn't continue to hook.
And gets a good break, knocking out the 10-pin, leaving the 1-2-4.
Everything's going to be an adventure for Bob because the ball's going to roll out even on his spares.
Well, is Danny going up in front? Yes, he is. He's going in front of that ball, return again.
He was practicing this while we were away on the practice pair off to the side. He was working on this shot. And see if he's very comfortable, more comfortable now than he was before.
There we have it. Leaves the 6, 9, 10.
They're all in a bunch down there for Danny, and he's an excellent spare shooter. He will stand left, pick up his spare ball, throw it hard and straight. Hit either side of that 6-pin will be a winner for him.
And be sure to stay with us later tonight at the Claremore Classic. The LPBT as Cindy Coburn-Carroll tries to defend her title. That's tonight at 12:30. Stay up late. You can sleep in tomorrow. On the left lane, which has given them less trouble. And still does.
Danny Wiseman just keeps rolling along. He's won 8 consecutive televised matches now, and he just keeps working his way up the ladder. You know what he does? He qualifies, I think, 4th or 5th on purpose, so he just kind of add on to that streak.
Well, Houston tried that last week, though, and it didn't work.
Well, let's see if Mr. Spaulding can get something going here. He's got to put some pressure on Wiseman, and that's just not going to happen when the ball, he can't control the break point. The break point is going to be at a different spot down the lane where it starts to roll out. You don't know where it's going to end up.
Just depending on whether he throws a little harder or a little slower, but...
All right, for the spare, only the 3-pin here. Shouldn't be much of a problem for him.
And has it. There's his fiancée, Tana Fulmer. And this is Mike Durbin along with Earl Anthony. We're coming to you live from the Hollywood Bowl in Portland, Oregon, the City of Roses. It's the championship round finals of the Oregon Open. And in our opening match, Danny Wiseman defeated Tommy Delutz, and right now he leads by 1 pin over Bob Spaulding in the 4th frame of the 2nd game.
No, it's kind of interesting, Mike, is none of the top 5 that we have on the telecast today has even been in the top 24 yet this year. There's his first strike of the match, and that was a powerful hit strike there, Mike.
But even that ball, when it didn't look like rolled out right at the very end, still was enough to get the 5 out.
Well, he struggled and struggled, but he's still very much in this match.
Well, here's the view I want to
Wiseman.
see of how many steps he's taken here.
Watch him kind of slide that left foot a little bit.
So it's 3 steps is what you're saying. Yeah, you're right. 3 steps.
3. Boy, he's got it done. I tell you, Brian Voss played this way last night, and I was really impressed. I watched all 8 games of match play last night, and here's another look at that shot. And Brian Voss played this exact same shot and just dominated the field. He made a tremendous move and almost led the tournament.
Wow. 4 steps staying at the back of the approach on one lane. 3 steps staying in front of the ball return on the other lane. Is that versatile, or is he just confused?
You know, the last time I saw someone use this type of versatility was Don Johnson at the Tournament of Champions one year. Hall of Famer Don Johnson, I should say. When he was playing the 5th arrow on one lane and playing out over the channel on the right-hand lane, actually throwing the ball in the air over the channel, pointing it up off the edge of the lane. And
he could do that.
He could do that. He was, what a talent he was, huh? All right, here we go. Danny shot this on the right-hand lane to see if he can pick it up on the left lane. This can be chopped. You have to be careful.
6, 9, 10, cross lane, going straight at it.
Look out.
Oh, boy, you saw that halfway down the lane. Slides the 6 in front of the 9. Well, Earl, your prognostication abilities continue to dazzle us all. Bob Spaulding.
Here's a look at that last shot. The ball just skidded on him. Remember, he almost chopped it on the right-hand lane, so he gave it more room and didn't quite get back. Big opportunity for Mr. Spaulding right
Is this
here.
a different ball here? And he had a disappointing loss last year to Mike Albee. I talked to him about losing there and how he had recovered.
Yeah, basically that basically took maybe a week. You know, I did everything I could that game. There was nothing to do. That was kind of like fate. You know, that was supposed to be at that time. I made good shots. I made him strike twice in the 10th. You know, that's in the past.
Talking about his loss at the Tournament of Champions in Chicago last year to Mike Albee. Bowled a great game and just didn't win.
How about this now? This is a guy that's found a way to make it work. We keep talking about this. This is a shot maker's lane condition. Here's a look at it.
Well, Danny Wiseman's streak is in jeopardy through 5 frames. He trails by 24 pins. We'll be back after this. And Danny Wiseman again 3-stepping it on lane 34 in front of the ball return. Moving to this deep angle, almost setting it down on the left channel. But it's working.
Well, it's kind of an amazing shot. You would never see this 10 years ago, Mike.
Why not?
Because nobody could get the ball to finish that hard except maybe a Mark Roth or a Marshall Holman. 10 years ago, here's a look at the pin action. No one could get the ball to turn that sharply on the back end. There were very, very few players, maybe a handful, 5 guys you might be able to name if you sat down and really struggled. They could create that kind of a back end or that much right to left action.
But there were guys playing that deep back then on certain occasions. They just kind of fell it back into the pocket.
They played that deep. A lot of very, very good players on that inside angle, but they made the ball skid on a line for like 58 feet and then just turn over a couple of inches.
Well, might skid it for 60, but trying for a double and doesn't get it. Suddenly the left lane giving him more trouble.
You can see the concentration on the face of Bob Spaulding. He thinks he's got this one in hand, and if he does get by Danny Wiseman, they don't get any easier. Remember, Brian Voss waiting in the wings for an opportunity to win this tournament, and he has to get by the winner of this match to get to the tournament leader, David Wodka. Kind of interesting also, Mike, that this is our 4th tournament of the year, and we've had 20 different bowlers on the telecast. We've yet to have the same guy repeat in any of our telecasts.
So is that because the PBA is doing a different lane condition every week?
Well, I think that's because it's a test every week, and I think you're right. They're probably putting out different shots every week. The players have to make good shots. With the bowling balls that are available today, it is my opinion that if you let these guys go out and just bowl on, say, a house condition, they'd all average 250.
Oh, right lane continuing to give everybody trouble. Tana says, dear, you can make it. Can he make it?
You betcha he can make this. All right, hit the right-hand side of that 6-pin, slide it into 7.
Aiming at about 1/4 of an inch and just misses at 60 feet. Can't come much closer, but right now we've got an 8-pin match. Bob Spaulding with 140 in the 7th frame. Wiseman, if he strikes, will have 132. So 3 frames to go, still anybody's match, and there's the score. We see it.
You know, nobody has converted a split on television yet this year. On television.
That we've seen, yeah, because Tommy Delutz made the 4-9 in the 10th frame, but we had gone to commercial break, so we didn't get to see that.
Big shot here. He needs to load up.
And does.
And he does.
Well, he's figured that lane out. He gets the finish over there.
He does. He's at the advantage right now. He gets to finish. Here's another look at that shot. Watch the ball straighten out. It's still rolling out, as Mike mentioned, but he had plenty of power. Entry angle is important, and the ball is gripping the lane.
And he gives it a little hip bump to knock it out.
Back-to-back wall shots on that lane for Danny Wiseman.
Any way he can get it, but he's got to make the adjustment here.
Well, this is the shot of the match for Danny Wiseman. If he doesn't strike here, his fate is not in his hands anymore. It'll be all up to Bob Spaulding.
Does he move deeper, or what does he do?
Good question, Mike. The left-hand lane has been the one that they've both been. Danny Wiseman in the opening match hit it best as far as hitting the pocket goes.
Oh, whatever he did, it was perfect.
Well, I am continually amazed at the ability of these young athletes, especially these younger guys coming up. Their ability to throw a bowling ball at 22, 23 miles an hour and still rotate it the way they do. The strength in their forearms and wrist is phenomenal. And their ability to make adjustments and know what that bowling ball is going to do when they're feeling the heat.
Bob Spaulding, 9th frame, trailing by 2. And the Brooklyn, but he leaves the 7. He was going for the demoralizer shot there, but...
Well, I'll tell you what, anything looks good on the scoreboard. If you can get the strike.
On that right lane, they'll take anything. But right now, he's the best he can get to spare.
Now's not a good time to get careless. Make the spare, go over to your good lane, get the 2 strikes in the 10th, and put the pressure on Wiseman to double.
And he has the spare in the 9th frame. We enter the 10th. Danny Wiseman leading by 2, but working on a double. Bob Spaulding, though, on his favorite lane. He's hit it the last 3 times in a row.
This first ball is so important. If he can strike here, it comes down to pin count. And it would put the pressure on Danny Wiseman to make a very good shot on lane 34, first ball in the 10th. Of course, if he can double, it's all the better. Lots of room here.
Oh, the can opener.
Oh, boy. Lots of power there. He's checking the scoreboard. You can see him looking off to the right to check, make sure that he knows exactly where he stands. He knows he's 2 pins behind, and a strike will put him 8 pins ahead.
That light hit where the ball kind of separates the 5 and 6. At least I always called it a can opener. Maybe, you know, of course, I've been around a while, you know. That was back when they had can openers.
I remember reading that in a 1923 bowling book.
Did you really?
Yeah,
You read the same one, huh? For the double and the lead. Oh. Great shot, but leaves the 10 pin.
That's all you can do is make the good shot. Now, pick up the spare, shoot your 200 even. Danny Wiseman with a 2-pin lead. 9 spare 9, we got a tie.
Uh-oh.
Now there's a major error there.
Boy, is that lax? We've talked about Danny's record on TV. We had a chance to ask him why he bowls so well on television.
I have a plan of attack that I kind of abide by, and that's just going out and making 10 really good shots and hope my opponent doesn't match it. You know, it's just I've been very fortunate on TV, and hopefully it continues.
A little short with that one.
Oh, he talked about being fortunate.
Well, what's fortunate for one man is unfortunate for the other. Danny Wiseman has thrown several crossovers today, and I can offhand can remember 3 that carried. And is that 4?
No, it's the 3rd one.
That's
right
the 3rd
there.
one that's carried. So, but this is a very fortunate, as you mentioned, for him here in the 10th frame. An unfortunate thing for Bob Spaulding, who gave it the best he could, but it wasn't enough.
And he leaves the 7th pin. With a spare conversion, Danny will finish up with 211 and be the winner, 211 to 199. So is he going to practice on a strike here? Yeah, he's going to change and give it a little practice here. Forget the spare, try something different for the next match. And Hall of Famer Brian Voss coming on. Going straight up the track there. Did you see that?
That was 4-6. Could have been a full rack.
Oh,
right in the middle head.
Does he know that, though?
Oh, yeah, he was looking. He knows where those spots are.
Okay, well, we're headed to our semifinal match. When we come back, Earl Anthony, the Hall of Famer, will interview or have a guest, a very important guest. Stay tuned. And recently, the PBA inducted 3 members into the Hall of Fame. Mike Albee in his first year of eligibility. Dave Houston in his first year of eligibility. Both made it in to the performance category. And in the meritorious service category, Larry Lichstein made it in after several years on the ballot. And now let's go to Earl Anthony, who'll be talking to Dave Houston.
With me, David Husted, soon to be inducted in the PBA Hall of Fame. Matter of fact, April 21st, 1996, he will be one of the newest members. And David, what a thrill. What a climax to a great career.
Well, Earl, it's just that. Yeah, I've kind of come full circle, if you will. Been out here half my life on the tour, and now to end it with, kind of on the downside, end it with the Hall of Fame induction. And going in with Mike Albee, it's going to be extremely exciting.
2 really great players. Also, David, this has to be a real big thrill for your father, Champ.
Yeah, you know, he bowled a little bit in the Northwest and tried the PBA in the old National Bowling League, and he did all he could do around the Northwest, but didn't like the pro circuit. So he's going to be very excited. Our whole family is going to be back there, so we're really looking forward to it.
It's going to be a thrill for the Husteds. Thank you, David.
Thank you.
And thank you, Earl. In our match right there, Danny Wiseman defeated Bob Spaulding 210 to 199. Let's take a look now at some of the other finishers. Our top 24, 6th place, Jess Stayrook, missed by about 30 pins. And Bob Learn, we've seen him many times before.
Scott Alexander, a very improving young player out of the Seattle area. And, of course, everybody knows this name, the #1 player in the world, Norm Duke.
And Mike Edwards supporting a goatee now. Rick Steelsmith trying to still live up to that potential.
Steve Jaros, always improving, and young Ricky Ward, ex-Rookie of the Year, back on track.
Steve Wilson, we saw him one time on our telecast, and 300, Bob Benoit.
And my old buddy Andy Nyer making another finals. He's getting to be a regular in there, and right behind him, Steve Hoskins. He made the telecast here last year also.
And a great regional player, Greg Kemp, and Mark Williams, used to be chairman of the PBA's tournament committee.
Doug Kent still looking for that first PBA when he won the Masters, the ABC Masters in 1991, and Justin Romek was the tournament's leading qualifier last year.
And Paul Kohler, new face on the PBA Tour, Jeff Morin from Rockaway, New Jersey.
Robbie Porter, a future star. He struggled during match play, and of course the alternate, great player, Tommy Baker, just missed here last year also.
Veteran Tommy Baker. I was talking to him just last week. There he is, the PBA Hall of Famer, Brian Voss, trying to get tuned in to this pair of lanes as in our semifinal match. He'll be taking on red-hot Danny Wiseman. Stay tuned for that match coming right up. And some of our junior pro-am bowlers here supporting signs that support Dave Houston, who obviously they think a lot of in this part of the country.
Oh, no question. He's Milwaukee, Oregon, I should say, local player right here, and the whole family's been here for a number of years and done an outstanding job in the bowling industry here also.
And, you know, they talk a lot about role models. Dave Houston, great role model.
No question about it. You know, he's a complete package. Tremendous talent, great athlete in high school, basketball and other sports. Great golfer. Something he could help you with, yes.
Well, you're trying. I mean,
Right.
When you don't have much to work with, it's hard to improve, you know. Well, you know, we had said that nobody had missed a one-pin spare this year, but actually on the fill ball in the previous game, after 67 consecutive conversions, somebody did miss, but it really didn't count as an open frame as Danny converts the 4-pin.
All right, that's our first look, Mike, at someone we all admire, Brian Voss.
And Brian's trying the Danny Wiseman school in front of the ball. Does he take 4 steps there or 3? 4.
He takes 4.
There's the right lane.
This isn't where Brian would normally play that right-hand lane, but because of the lane surface and the ball reaction he's getting, you can see what he's doing. He's taking 4 steps, little tiny steps, still getting the slide in, and very few people are strong enough. Yeah, baby step. Very few people are strong enough to create the ball speed you might need to get it down the lane with that little bit of steps, you might say.
Maybe so Richard Dreyfuss' movie. What about Bob with the baby steps? And the 10-pin rocks but doesn't fall. Brian Voss is wearing a microphone, so we'll try and eavesdrop on some of his conversations with himself. That's the 10-pin. Does it in silence. Danny Wiseman again in front of the ball return. Now we see that this is the rubber match between these two guys.
Almost tripped the 4-pin, Mike.
Haven't been many trip 4s tonight, Earl. You know that.
No,
gets up there, it seems like it stays. Sometimes it's got company.
That's right. You know, to give you an idea of what the PBA players are all about, they don't just bowl and go watch a movie or go out and have a hamburger. These guys are busy with the official PBA charity, which is the Children's Miracle Network. And 2 of our players, Tommy Delutz and Dave Wodka, went and visited the kids over at Dornbecker Children's Hospital right here in Portland and spent an hour or 2 over there shaking hands, talking to the kids, giving them some autographs, and hopefully cheering them up a little bit.
They did that today?
They did that today.
Isn't that amazing? When they got that big night ahead of them, they take time out to do that.
Now, these young kids, they're very much involved in making things work for the PBA and, of course, for the... They know what it's like to be young and have some problems.
And Danny Wiseman has no problems on the left lane as he flushes a strike in the 3rd frame. Brian Voss now on lane 34.
Very quickly, let me give you folks at home an idea what goes on during a PBA event. The size of the field here was 140. The field averaged 205. To get a check, you had to average 210. To make the top 24, you had to average 214.5.
And will it hit it? Well, the pin got in the way. That 6-pin ran interference. It looked like a pulling guard. And his 2 sisters right here, Cheryl Colwell and Dina Weber. A little concern on both of those faces.
She married the Weber family, did she?
Yeah, the Weber, he gets around everywhere, doesn't he? Voss converts that spare.
All right, now the rest of the situation here, the logistics. The format here is 18 games of qualifying. All 140 bowlers bowl that. After the 18 games, total pins, the top 24 advance to match play. Those top 24 bowl each other a 1-game match. The top 5 after bonus pins and carrying their pinfall over, you see here on our televised portion of the event.
So what we're seeing is just the tip of the iceberg as he leaves the 2-4-5.
You're seeing 5 guys at the top of their game, Mike. There's the tournament stats.
Some of the things you just went through right there.
Oh, well, that looks familiar, yes.
Yeah, 214 average to make match play. Is that normal or is that low or high?
214, I think that's probably a little low, don't you?
In that area, and that's a open frame for Brian Voss as he chops the 2-4-5. Danny Wiseman, would we say he's now 23-5 on television?
Yeah, and good fortune continues to smile on Danny. When you get Brian Voss to make a mistake, it's they're few and far between. You have to feel blessed.
Trying for a quick double to take advantage of that open frame. And does. And it's the Senior PGA Tour on ESPN, the GTA Suncoast Tournament. This Saturday and Sunday from Tampa, Florida, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. All the greats are there. Nicholas, Palmer, Trevino, Blair, Florida, and the defending champion, Dave Stockton.
Well, if there's anything that you could say Danny Wiseman is, I would have to consider him a talented opportunist, because when someone makes a mistake, Danny's right there to take advantage of it. And generally, it's enough to get a win for him. He squeaked by those first 2 matches.
You know, it seems like sometimes he concentrates so hard on that right lane that he forgets on the left lane or something and makes a mistake over there.
And maybe we forget that the left lane, even though it's been more scoreable than the right, isn't
tough.
easy.
Yeah,
it's still tough.
Yeah.
Baby split. The idea is to fit the ball between the 2 pins, let it hit the 3 pin, and deflect into the 10. And when the lanes are hooking, sometimes that's hard to do. Cross lane. Perfect.
Keeps the pressure on Voss. No open frames there.
I think Danny Wiseman knows, and we all know, after watching this young man bowl for a number of years, that at any given time, Brian Voss can throw 4 or 5 strikes in a row. So you can't ever take a deep breath and relax.
On lane 34. Short step, still pretty good speed, Earl.
There's the first one.
Well, he's got to take advantage of that now and hit this other lane.
It's beginning to look more like the left lane is the problem. Sometimes when you're performing in a situation where you feel you're under duress of some kind, you concentrate more and make a better shot. Maybe that's what they're doing on lane 34, and like you mentioned, maybe then they're over-relaxing on lane 33 and letting it get away. Oh, he's really deep now on this one. Ball almost set up for him.
He rolled out right at the pocket, but leaves that 4-pin. And again, nobody seems to be able to trip that 4-pin out.
I keep waiting for Brian to... There he is.
What did he say there?
I was talking when I shouldn't have. I wanted to hear what he had to say. I was just going to say I will keep waiting for Brian to say something.
Brian Voss struggling through 5.5 frames, trailing by 22 pins. Danny Wiseman up in the 6th frame when we come back after this. Danny Wiseman ready to bowl on lane 34, leading by 22 pins in this event. Should mention that Tommy Delutz took home $4,000 and Bob Spaulding $5,000. The loser of this match is going to go home with $6,000. The winner an opportunity to bowl for $19,000. Wiseman figuring it out on that right lane.
Boy, he looks tough. You know, he's the only guy, I mentioned this earlier, there was one 300-game bowl this week. Out of all the players, 140 bowlers, they bowled all those games, there was one 300 game. The PBA this year is averaging 4 in an event. 1 game bowled to 300, that was Danny Wiseman. And he got $1,000 bonus for that, so that's not a bad...
not a bad little bonus.
Little bonus there, yeah. And there's a $25,000 bonus given by Mark Frank for a 300-game bowled on television.
Anybody does that, they're going to really earn it. Oh, the solid 10-pin. Tell me now, if you're Dave Wodka over there, ready to bowl your first time for a title, which one of these guys do you want to bowl? Hall of Famer or a guy that never loses on TV?
That's a tough... I don't think he's going to worry about that, though. You know, if I were him, I don't think I'd worry about either one of them. Just go over and do the best you can. Easier said than done, but that's the whole idea of this game. Get over here. It's an individual game. There's no defense. You have to go out and just knock them down.
Cross lane at the 10-pin. Has it. Voss has got to get it going. He has 2 strikes in this match, both of them on lane 34. There's Dave Wodka warming up. We get a look at his style. Smooth, balanced at the foul line. Nice follow through.
Yeah, a lot of power in that release, too. He can definitely get some rotation on the ball. Running out of frames for Brian Voss.
And the solid 10-pin, no breaks going Voss's break way.
And his reaction there, Mike, was a clap of the hands and come on. He's getting a little upset. Tempers
his
going.
Pins are just not cooperating. At the 10-pin. We talked to him. He's won 9 years in a row, at least one tournament. Is the streak on his mind?
I really started thinking about it a few years ago. After, it was 8 years in a row, people started telling me about it. And then, last year it was 9 in a row, and this year could be 10 in a row. I certainly, I want to continue that streak forever. I think the infamous Earl has 14, and I'd like to get at least 15.
Why does everybody always want me?
Infamous.
Why are they always picking on me?
Why did he refer to you as infamous? That's an infamous 10-pin right now.
Well, Brian is one of my favorite people. I really admire him. I admire his ability. I admire him as a person. He's a class act. But he doesn't have to beat my record.
And when I last watched him, he beat you in golf. Of course, he was getting some strokes, but at the 10-pin has it. Danny Wiseman leading by 24 as Brian Voss can't knock down the 10-pin except with the second ball.
Oh, that could be a problem there.
Boy, you called that. I'll tell you.
When it left his hand, it was pretty obvious where that was going to go, and Danny knew it just as much as I did. Right through the middle of the head pin, the 6, 7, 10. Here's another look at it. This ball is going left when it leaves his hand. It never had a chance to get to the right-hand side of the head pin, and when it rolls out in the end, it's dead flush middle of the head pin. There comes the pin count. We're right back into a match now.
If he gets 8 out, it's under 10 pins. But he plays it cute, I think, and got the 9 out. I don't think he went for that. And we want you to stay up later tonight. Watch Jan Schmidt, the Isle of Wagner, call all the action for the Claremore Classic. That's the LPBT tournament. Oh, it's John Neighbor. I'm sorry. My little promo sheet was wrong.
You're close enough.
Well, just difference between male and female. Nothing serious here.
Right tournament. That's the important part.
Okay.
A lot of talented players on that ladies tour.
And leaves the 4-pin. Right now, though, we could have a tied match here. You know that?
Yep. Every match has been close, right down to the end, and Danny Wiseman has been the guy that's pulled them off.
One way or another. At the
One
end
way
of
or
that
the
match.
other. That's right. Remember last match, he needed to make a good shot, and he crossed over and carried the strike to win that one. Very disappointing ending for Bob Spaulding. Brian Voss still has a possible 203. Danny Wiseman, the most he can shoot is 203.
And has the 4-pin. Well, he sits down knowing that he can still
Can't get
win the
shut out.
match. He can't get shut out of the match. Right. Yeah. I was looking for that phrase. You just popped it in.
Okay, I'll write it down for you right now.
Thanks. I appreciate that. You're such a nice guy.
This is the shot he needs right here. This is a very important shot for Brian Voss. If he can get by the right-hand lane, he's got a good opportunity on the left lane to develop the ball speed he needs to keep it in the pocket.
Boy, he's got that lane.
I'll tell you what, he probably would rather stay on this lane the way he's going.
Well, I tell you what, he's had 3 strikes in this match, all of them on this lane.
What a great arm swing, what great fundamentals this guy has. 10 in the pit, and he's pumping. Boy, I'll tell you what, he's getting into the action now. He says, okay, I got a chance. Remember last time on this lane, the solid 10-pin. He needs this hit right here.
This to even the match.
Got all of that one.
Watched it all the way, didn't he?
Well, we heard what he said that time, didn't we?
Everybody heard what he said that time. Even
Yeah.
for the lead.
Well, if Danny Wiseman's going to keep his streak going, he's going to have to earn it this time. Here's another look at that last shot, the crucial one, and you saw the preparation Brian Voss went through, and there is some elevation, folks. I'll tell you what, slam dunk the basketball with that one. Voss is into it, and he is a winner.
Count, equally important.
When I say he's a winner, I mean he's a winner as a person. He hasn't won this match yet.
Needs 10. Get him. Well, he's talking to that ball to get him, and it did.
Well, he made his two sisters happy. Now let's see if Danny Wiseman can turn it around.
Well, Wiseman.
Remember last time he hit the middle of the head pin on this lane. See what he does. He gives it more room.
There's the story. Has to do them one at a time. And Danny Wiseman doesn't bail it out this time.
Well, it took a great player with a great finish to stop a wonderful, wonderful streak.
Player using both of them around in front of the ball return on the right lane and able to go back to their normal shot on the left lane and perform under pressure. Wiseman, though, leaves the 10-pin. With a strike, he'll finish with 192. Brian Voss looking for that decade of wins and to get hot on Earl Anthony's tail. Just 5 more years and he'll have you.
It's a long time.
You're right, it is. Especially when you're 37. Hard to believe Brian's 37 already. Now Carey, he says, and it always does. That fill ball knows. The pins know when it's the fill ball. Well, Brian Voss has defeated Danny Wiseman 203 to 192. We'll be back with Championship Frame, a review of our previous 3 matches to this. And now it's time for Championship Frame, and we've had some exciting finishes. This is Danny Wiseman in the opening match in the 10th frame, Earl.
Well, Danny on a 23-pin lead, as you can see, needs his first strike really to lock the match up. And you can't roll it much better than this. It's 10 in the pit for Danny, and his reaction, just a little nudge there. Thank you very much.
And we see he wins 209 to 179 over Tommy Delutz. And he goes into match number 2. And again, we're in the 10th frame. Danny Wiseman finishing on lane 34.
Danny Wiseman, this is his first ball in the 10th again, and good fortune is always appreciated. You see the crossover hit. Not what he would normally do in that situation, but he's not going to turn it down. It's a winner.
And that helped him defeat Bob Spaulding 210 to 199 for his 23rd win on television, 23rd match game win. But Brian Voss put a stop to that here on the 12th ball in our semifinal match.
Well, Voss needs them all to put the pressure on Danny Wiseman, and this is the shot that does it. 10 in the pit for 203 score. Danny Wiseman needed 3 to tie and couldn't function in that situation.
So Brian Voss, proving that he truly is a Hall of Famer, defeats Danny Wiseman 203 to 192, setting up our championship match, which will feature Voss versus newcomer Wodka, Stu. Joining me this week is the proprietor here at Hollywood Bowl, Mark Frank. Mark, welcome to ESPN.
Hi, Mike.
Mark, all of us around the rest of the country have been reading and seeing on television the floods in Oregon. Tell us a little bit about that and how it affected the tournament.
Well, it was extremely tragic for the area, and thousands of people, they lost their homes, and power was out for quite a while. But as far as the tournament, the flood didn't affect us too bad. There was a few pro-am bowlers that didn't make it on Sunday. They were from the Salem area, where part of Salem was evacuated, and a few of the pro bowlers were a little late getting here. But other than that, the tournament went off real well.
Well, really minor compared to what everyone else suffered, and our hearts really go out to all of those people. Thank you for joining us tonight. Okay. And now we're ready for the championship match, the biggest match of Dave Wodka's career so far.
And he's letting Voss finish on the right-hand lane, and of course Voss showed us that he could play either lane in the 9th and 10th frames when he threw 4 in a row to defeat Danny Wiseman.
We were talking in between, and you think that he may have a letdown in this championship match. We see there he had 6 strikes, and now 3 on each lane. And leaves a 10-pin to start the match.
Well, I was just discussing that with you, Mike, thinking that he just beat a guy that they were thinking was unbeatable, Danny Wiseman. Danny had gone 23-5 or something like that on television, which is a phenomenal record. He had to strike out in the 10th to get rid of Danny Wiseman, get him out of the way. And now he's got a young kid here who has never been in this position before. You can see the nervousness in his face. David Wodka is a tremendous talent, but at the same time, he's never been here before. So maybe Voss is thinking this is going to be a little easier than Wiseman.
Well, right through the heart. Kind of what you would think on this right lane, as difficult as it is.
Well, I would like to see him stay clean. Just get a couple of spares the first 2 or 3 frames till he gets acclimated, getting used to bowling in front of this huge live audience, bowling on television in front of a tremendous TV audience on ESPN. Let him loosen up a little bit, and maybe he'll be all right. Then we can see what he's capable of doing once he gets his feet solid on the ground, so he can get a good foundation going here. He's got a tremendous talent.
Well, they're both off with spares. 2nd frame, lane 33. Excellent shot. Leaves the 4-pin on the left lane. There's his proud parents, Charlie and Kathy Wodka. She's quite a bowler in her own right.
Yes, she is. She has a WIBC title. She has a gold medal in some amateur event. She also has won a professional tournament back in 1979 on the Ladies Pro Tour. So David's trying to match Mom's record, and it's pretty hard to do. Kathy's a good player.
Brian Voss taking that trek around in front of the ball return. Fade, it says. Hey, this isn't golf.
Well, fade is just one way of saying quit hooking. You know, it looked like it was going to go through the middle of the head pin. It's set up for him. He got away with it.
Cross lane at the 4-pin, straight.
You know, that was a great stat we just saw there, and the graphics on the bottom of the picture when Brian was shooting that spare. He is. There it is again. This is great. 60th career TV pinch, 58 and 46 with almost a 220 average. That again demonstrates
how tough it is.
How tough it is to win against the best players in the world week after week on television. Look what Wiseman has done.
Yeah. Well, back in there on lane 33.
Well, this is the man of the hour right here, young David Wodka. You don't get very many chances to win on the PBA Tour. When you do, you take advantage of them. Here's his chance.
Oh, what a great shot. That's 100 miles an hour.
Back-to-back great shots.
I'll tell you what, you see the standings. He did nothing but get better. Right now, he just wants to hold his position.
That's right. Well, all 5 guys, they came from nowhere, basically. Tommy Delutz, after the second round, was 38th.
So does that tell you the condition changed as the week went on? Or?
Well, either that or they found the right equipment at the right time.
We got to take a positive spin on that, right? Yes.
Here's another look at that last shot here by David Wodka, and this is his strike ball. See how deliberate he is with his footwork, but look how free and easy the arm swing is. Gets in perfect position to get the ball through. Shoulders perfectly over the knee. What a great finishing position.
That left arm point right at the opposite wall. Wow. And there's his fiancée, Lori Coniglio. Is that how you pronounce it?
Nice try, Mike. Nice try. That was a good try. All right. Well, I think that maybe Mr. Wodka is getting more relaxed now and enjoying the position. Voss has his hands full here. We got a great match for the championship.
He didn't get the Hall of Fame for no reason at all, I'll tell you what.
Well, there's no question. He's a tremendous talent. I've said that about 50 times already today, but it's because I truly believe it.
Our scorekeeper, Philip Ringener, pointing out that Brian Voss leads by 11 pins right now. Trying to make it 21. Put some pressure on the young man. And he did. I'll tell you what, this is a very big shot for this young man early in this match.
Well, let's see if he throws it as hard as he did and as direct as he did last time. The ball was going so fast and never had a chance to grip the lane, Mike.
Oh, man. Oh, you're trying for your first title. It's your first time on television. You make a great shot in a pressure situation. The 10-pin just laughs at you. Oh.
All right, cross lane at the spare. Again, that tremendous ball speed.
Biggest game of his life. We talked about, does he have a game plan for it?
I just want to go out and do what I did all week, and that's take it one shot at a time and make good shots. I just want to go out and make 10 good shots tonight and see what the end result is.
Sounded like Danny Wiseman's plan, and it was pretty successful for him, wasn't it?
Right, yeah. For right now, he's made some good shots and hasn't had much to show for it. 4-pin, a couple of 10-pins, and now he eases up on the speed and leaves the 3-6-10.
Well, and this is not only a tough spare, but a crucial spare for him. He can't afford to give anything to Brian Voss. Brian Voss working on 3 in a row and showing again, why he's a winner and trying to keep that streak alive. 10 consecutive years with at least one win.
At the 3-6-10, and has it. All right. A little smile on his face. Mark Gerbrich and Mark Frank. Couple of Marks right there. Mark Gerbrich, the executive director of the Professional Bowlers Association, and Mark Frank, we saw in the interview, the proprietor here. Also the proprietor next week.
Okay. The only problem Brian Voss has over here is he can't afford to ease up. If he eases up, the ball's going to hook high on him, so he has to keep it firm. Perfect shot.
Well, Brian Voss showing the champion that he is. And for those, don't forget, next week it's the Track Synergy Open. Next Friday, 8 o'clock, and it's an arena finals where there's special time energy at the Tri-Cities Coliseum. Be sure to join us for that. It'll be a lot of fun.
Synergy, energy. That sounds kind of close together, Mike.
Right, yeah.
There's definitely a lot of energy.
Didn't even stumble over that. I mean,
that's right. You did good. Brian Voss on 4 in a row. Trying to put this match away. You heard him say, get up. And what he meant by that is hook some more. Get up and get part of that head pin.
And he sees title number 16 right within his grasp.
He's got all the dance steps. You know, I don't know where he learned all those.
From Baryshnikov. I mean, he's got that pirouette right there.
There you go. Well, at least he has a sense of humor, huh?
Oh, yeah, and he's not out of this match yet. He's 44 behind, but he's got to stay loose, but also get focused here on the left lane. He can still win if he can get something going.
If he doesn't strike here, the match is basically out of the wood. So he needs to strike desperately on the left lane.
Oh, again, it just looked like not quite enough speed.
Yeah, well, I think, you know, when he left the 10-pin on the right-hand lane, back-to-back, I think he felt in his mind that the ball speed was such that the ball was not making the turn into the pocket at the right point, and that's why he was leaving the solid 10. So he slowed it down a little bit, and he carried it, and then he tried to basically do the same thing on the left lane and just overhooked on him.
Well, it's tough. You're going for your first title. You're bowling a Hall of Famer, and the guy's got 5 in a row in a tough condition, standing in front of the ball return. It's a little intimidating.
It's like he's cheating out there. You know, when you're that good, it's not fair, is it? He's not going to relax either. He's working on every shot.
4-pin. Even though he wanted to strike, he'll take that. Picks this up, marks in the 9th frame. The match is over.
Big win for Brian Voss. Big disappointment for David Wodka. But there are going to be more days for young David Wodka. With a talent like that, believe me, you'll see a lot of this young man in the future because he's going to be back. He's got the ability, and he's got the common sense, and he's very, very hard worker. He's intelligent. He'll be back on television. You'll see this man in the future many times.
Plus, he's going to take home, what, 9,000, 10,000 for second place. Assuming that Brian can mark in one of these last 2 frames.
Well, David Wodka, by the way, is also he's sponsored by what he did is he sold shares in himself for $1,000 a share, 15 people. So he's going to show a little dividend for the shareholders here.
Well, that's fine. Cross lane at the 4-pin. That basically locks up the match, but Wodka would like to strike it out to make Voss show up for the 10th frame.
Well, he's going to show up one way or the other.
And again, right through the heart of the pins leaves the 3-6-9. Dave Wodka disappointed. Tough task ahead of him to beat Brian Voss on a given night like tonight. At the 3-6-9, has to get that back pin, and does. So Brian Voss is going to win title number 16. This is 10 years in a row now, Earl.
I'm going to have to start talking to him a little bit.
You might suggest to him here he takes next year off or something.
Well, I'm proud of him. Again, as I mentioned, I admire him very much. He's a class guy. And he's really the kind of guy the PBA should be proud to have as a member.
Wodka scrambles him up right there. Wants to finish it out, at least get a 200 game. It's going to be a clean game. Both players are clean through 9 frames.
Wodka made some tough spares along the way, though, huh, Mike?
Yeah, you get those 7s. You know, they're good at the dice table, but not so good in bowling, huh? And just never could put 2 together. Leaves the 2-8. Makes a comment to his wife that she can, or not his wife, his mother, that she can go shoot that.
Well, Kathy might have give Brian a pretty good match herself, huh?
I'm sure she would have. So he misses the 2-8, finishes with 191. Getting his baptism of fire, bowling for the title against the Hall of Famer, Brian Voss. Looking to finish it out. 3 strikes will give him 247. Goes right back to work in front of that ball return. And flushes one more strike. Who wants it? Throws the rosin bag. We'll be back to talk to our champion after this. Don't go away. You stay with us as Brian Voss is the Oregon opener. And they love you here in Portland, Oregon. Well, the streak is still alive.
The streak is definitely still alive. Before I say anything, it's my 6-year anniversary in 2 days. So my wife's watching. Go ahead and buy yourself something, honey. I know you're watching. I just love coming here. Mark Frank is probably, we can't call him Captain Host because he's just, he does everything for the players. He's really one of the guys. And Mark puts on a great tournament, and I look forward to coming back.
Well, he's putting on another great tournament next week.
Oh, he sure is. We got the Arena Finals. I get to stay with him again 2 weeks in a row, freebie.
Yeah, maybe you'll win next week. Nice to win in front of family tonight.
That's right. I was real pleased. My sisters, they were in Seattle for a couple of days, and they drove down. Got stuck in traffic and almost didn't make it, but I'm sure happy that they were here to see this.
Well, we want to offer our congratulations to you. Thank you so much for being us. Stay with us. Mike Durbin for Earl Anthony saying so long from Portland, Oregon. Be sure to join us next week for the Track Synergy Open. And stay tuned for NPC Women's Bodybuilding.